War! War never changes. Today we're talking about war-themed bands in metal. That's right. Why is war a great theming for lots of metal bands? Because there's so many bands out there that use the theming of war itself in their music, in their lyrical themes, in their outfits, in just everything they do. They just love war. And what is it about it that makes them just drawn to it like a moth to a flame? Well, I think it's the harrowing nature of war itself, like the Great War, World War II, all the other skirmishes, the Vietnam War. There's just a harrowing, just fear that just grips all the soldiers throughout each battle. Like, you got living in the trenches is just hell, muddy, disease-filled, rat-filled, just cockroaches everywhere. And then there's all the deaths, the explosions, the noise, the not being able to sleep. It's all just intense. Intensity is the word, and music, to grab your attention, has to be intense. And especially for a subject like war, intensity has to come with it. And today we're going to talk about some bands that I love in this category. And I say war metal. I do not mean war metal like the blackened, like the black metal, war metal. Like Archgoat, Blasphemy, stuff like that. It's not that kind of war metal. I'm talking about war-themed metal. A different distinction right there. But yeah, let's kick it off with one of the bands I really, really enjoy, which is coming from Ukraine, which knows a lot about war right now, because they're in one. And that is 1914. This is a blackened death metal band, flirting with some doom metal aspects as well, and they're a fairly new band. There's only like 3 full lengths they've got. And they also have a split with Minenwerfer, which we'll get to as well, another war-themed band. They are all about World War I, the Great War. Now, this war is such an interesting topic to talk about because it is the Great War for a reason. It's the most devastating war. It is the most just terrifying. If you read into it, it is absolutely just terrifying. So it's great theming for a band, and 1914 just do it perfectly. One of the albums I would definitely say to check out is The Blind Leading the Blind. It's such a phenomenal, catchy album, but also terrifying at the same time, and it does have those doomy aspects within the music too. Very melodic, and also keeps your attention the whole way through. Another one, Where Fear and Weapons Meet, the latest album by 1914 is another banger. And one thing about World War I is it's nothing to do with Nazism. There's get a lot of people that will kind of just say, oh, any bands talking about war, they gotta be Nazis. They gotta be fucking Nazis. No, it's nothing to do with that. If you look into it, it's got nothing to do with that at all. And also, even if it did talk about those atrocities that happened and that section, which some bands do, it's nothing to be shied away from because it is history and it is there to be learned from, or else you're doomed to repeat it. So it is interesting and good to talk about these kind of things, not just to shy away from them. But this is all about First World War, and their outfits on stage, really cool. The music, good blend of black and death and doom. Harrowing, eerie, creepy. I love the Grim Reaper and all their album covers. Like, it's death is haunting them. Death is coming to get these soldiers, and there's no escape. There's no escape. And that's 1914. That's the music. And as Ukraine is in a war right now with Russia, the music just hits even harder. So definitely recommend 1914. Great World War I themed band. I think the next couple are as well. I mentioned them in passing with the split, Minenwerfer. This is an American black metal band. They only have 4 full lengths, but oh my god, this is some furious black metal. I've been binging these guys a lot. Like, you talk about the first 2 and the latest album, Furor Walls, is just furious, intense, almost like that kind of war metal. Not war theme, but almost like how intense war metal is. Just blasting you over the head, the drumming. The vocals are a lot different. The vocals in 1914 are more like a black and death kind of approach, whereas on this it's pure black, screeching, just harrowing singing with Minenwerfer. Harrowing singing. Minenwerfer also is German for the word mine thrower, which is similar to like Bolt Thrower, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, the music of Minenwerfer, way heavier, way more intense, definitely feels like you're in the trenches. This is the band on the list. Maybe there's another one which feels like you're there in the battle, fighting alongside the soldiers, and there's no escape. Wrapped in barbed wire, just... You're fucked. You're basically fucked. The album I definitely said to check out is Album Pass. They managed to get like 17-minute long songs and 12-minute long songs onto this album, and it makes it just an epic journey. For how intense the music is, they just make it beautiful. And it has little sections within the musics which are kind of like, you know, bombs falling or people walking around, and it adds to the effect. It adds to the atmosphere, and it does make you drawn in to the war itself while you're listening to it, and I appreciate that. You know, taking me into the music is something I appreciate, and Minenwerfer do it very good. Album Pass, probably my second favourite album on this whole list, but I love it to pieces. It's a 10 out of 10 album. Definitely check out Minenwerfer, and definitely check out Album Pass. Beautiful album. Seeing as though I just mentioned it, shall we talk about Bolt Thrower? Bolt Thrower. English. Death metal. That's right, not black metal now, just pure on riffy death metal. Now, Bolt Thrower has a lot of different albums. Some of the early stuff, like the grindcore stuff, or Death Grind, and into like War Master and Realm of Chaos. Warhammer's a war, right? That counts. But everything after For Victory is purely war themed. A lot on World War I. For Victory. Come on, that's a masterpiece. For Victory! This is the catchy band on the list. Like the riffs, it's the riffiest, it's the catchiest. The songs are so goddamn good. Those Once Loyal, the last album they ever did, is such a masterpiece. At Dawn's First Light, Enemies of the Blood Burning Bright? Something like that. Anyway, it's catchy as hell. You'll be singing along to it. You'll be bobbing your head to the riffs. Kill Chain. The Kill Chain just has the most amazing guitar part. This is the band, the war-themed band, where you just be banging your head the whole time. It's a bit more fun, it's a bit more, as fun as it can be, you know what I mean? But it's a bit more triumphant, is the right word. And especially the album For Victory, I'd say check that one out. That basically encompasses them as a whole. It's got the riffs, got the amazing war-themed lyrics, got the catchy choruses. It's got everything you need. Great bass as well. The bass in Bolt Thrower, sexy. At First Light is also about going over the top, you know, over the top of the trenches when they just get mowed down, kind of like in Blackadder Goes Forth. Gotta mention Blackadder. Talking about war, what a great episode that one is. The theming's all about things like that, and it's just so good. I love them. The people who don't like them, what is wrong with you? You got rocks in your brain. Anyway, let's talk about another band. Black and Death. Kanonenfieber. Very hard to say, but this is a fairly recent band as well. I have talked about them a couple of years ago on my channel when Menshumel came out. Definitely butchered that. But I just got drawn in from the artwork. And then the new one, which came out this year, how do you say that? Let me write. Dire Catastrophe. Cool. It's hard things to say. Came out this year, 2024. Well, I guess, when you're watching it might be 2025. But yeah, Dire Catastrophe. Fantastic release. This is Black and Death again. Catchy. And the stage presence is unmatched. They were World War I outfits on stage. Hide the faces. Such a mood. They have explosions and things going off on stage. If you haven't seen the live shows, go check it out on YouTube. They do it like no other. Such a great band live. And it's Black and Death, similar to 1914, but a bit less doomy, a bit more on the melodic kind of side of things, but it still has those similar kind of vocals, I'd say. And they're from Germany. So they know their stuff. Next up, let's talk about some Marduk. I'm not wearing Panzer Division Marduk for no fucking reason. The best war-themed metal album ever made. I fucking love Panzer Division Marduk. Marduk is a band where early on in the career, like Dark Endless and I've forgotten already. Heaven Shall Burn When We Are Gathered, and those kind of albums are more in the Satanist kind of side of things. We'll talk about like evil things and Satan and stuff like that. It's from Panzer Division onwards where they got their footing and they became a war-themed band, because everything after that, like Plague Angel, Rum 512, Victoria, they're all war-themed. Great themes as well. And the style of Marduk, at least from this album onwards, or Heaven Shall Burn onwards, is blasting black metal. It's just furious blast beats, intense screaming, over the topness. There's explosions in the music, like death from above. There's just fucking explosions everywhere. This is another one, like I was talking about with Minenwerfer, where it feels like you're in the music. It feels like the bombs are dropping on your head. There's nowhere to go. The themings on Marduk is a lot more World War II themed, which I appreciate. I've had a lot of World War I. I'm getting some love for World War II. So I do love that. And they talk about things like the SS and other stuff like that. So it's cool history. Reading the lyrics is very interesting. And if you're into World War II kind of history, Marduk may be the band for you. It's also one of the best Swedish black metal bands ever made. So you want some fury? You want some fury in your bum? Go check out Marduk, because they deliver like no other. The most intense band ever. Fucking love them. Next up, I guess, last up. Are we going to talk about last? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Power metal. Sabaton. Come on. You knew this was going to come up here. Yeah, sure, I might like the other bands more, but Sabaton has to be mentioned. They have a bloody tank on stage. Every album's about wars. It's not all the same kind of wars, though. They have albums like The Last Stand, which is all about last stands of battles in history. Like, you know, like The Last Samurai kind of stuff. But they have other stuff like Heroes, and they have songs like Night Witches about the all-female night bomber regiment. Really cool topics, really interesting lyrics, and really interesting songs to sing about. Bismarck, really cool about ocean warfare and stuff like that. The topics are interesting. Coat of Arms, they even have Carolus Rex, whole concept album about the Swedish Empire. Really good if you like history, but I know the music might not be for everyone because it is more on the power metal side of things than Black and Death. I still enjoy Sabaton, I don't hate them. I've seen them live. Great live show, by the way. But I can understand why some people don't like them. They are a Marmite band, the vocals especially, but I like them. I like them, just like I like every other band on this list. My favourite being, of course, Marduk. Come on. But yeah, Sabaton has to be mentioned, and it is power metal, which is unique. It's interesting. We talk about Black and Death, and this is kind of an uplifting genre, talking about war, but it somehow still works. So yeah, there's Sabaton. There's loads of other bands, you know, Primitive Warfare, and there's hundreds of other bands, but those are the ones I'm going to mention today. But there is some others in genres like Iron Maiden, classic Iron Maiden, heavy metal. They sing about like Passchendaele, one of their best songs, and that's all about war. You know, like Run to the Hills, that's war-themed. So you have all these different styles and all these different bands that sing about war, and it all fits so well because the topic is very interesting, engaging, and just intense as all hell. So it's a great topic to sing about. Hopefully you like some of these bands that I've mentioned today. Hopefully you get into some that you haven't heard. And hopefully you can tell me in the comments below loads of the ones I've missed, because I've missed off hundreds of war-themed metal bands. So tell me down below what's your best war-themed metal band, what you love about it, and also have a great New Year's.